You're going to trade more times than you're supposed to or should. You're going to use more leverage, and chances are you're not going to use a stop loss effectively or at all, because you're going in with a one-sided perspective that it's only going to work out in your favor because you need it to, psychologically and emotionally. You need that victory, and you cannot envision anything but that. These banks, you cannot beat them. Okay? Everybody out there with the militia mindset, oh, we need a 1776, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You're not doing shit. You're not doing shit. You can't beat it, okay? So the only thing you can do is try to align yourself with what they're doing. Now, that poses a great deal of a moral dilemma for those folks out there that have a sense of humanity. Yes, the very concept of what central banking is very, very evil. But when I was a younger man and I was introduced to all this, I wasn't wanting to be a part of it at all. Like, I wanted to stop trading altogether, because once I discovered what is really going on behind the scenes, I did not want to be part of that at all. Lots of money offered, lots of doing this and lots of doing that. And no. See, it's a club that you don't really want to be a part of. And a lot of you young guys and gals would have signed up immediately. I'm only on this rock spinning through space for a few decades or so. If I'm lucky, if I'm going to be 100, I don't think I will be, but I don't think this is all there is. And in this world, when I was a younger man, I did things that I wasn't proud of and still not proud of. I can't change that. The only thing I can do is apologize and ask for forgiveness. And I believe my faith gives me that. But I asked the Lord, I said, what can I do to be an instrument to be used that way? Number one, people can see the real me. Because there are a lot of things out there that are said about me. They're all done from a competitive standpoint. Because if you don't watch me, then you won't stay long enough to find out what really works in these marketplaces. And if you don't see that, you'll fall victim to whatever they're trying to sell or get your attention and get your money. I asked in prayer, I said, how can I do this? And he gave me basically the inspiration to do what I've done all this year. Now, there's a few times I was wanting to do things from the man, the Michael, the humanity in me, the guy that gets mad, the guy that gets angry, the guy that wants a little, hair of the dog that bit him. And I was just told, just keep doing what you're doing. So I just stuck to what I was doing. I have shown you something that even my private mentorship wasn't given. And I showed you from my heart, because it was exactly what I designed for my daughter. Many of you are seeing people all around the world making real money with that. So if there's ever been a doubt whether what I teach or what I know, am I really that accurate? Can I really talk about where the market's going to be going forward? Am I doing both sides of the marketplace, up or down, and then I'm picking the right? You all seen it now. You all tasted it. So I believe that I have done what I set out to do last year, where I told you, just sit back and watch what I do. I'm going to give you a means of making money. It won't cost you anything. I'll make it as easy as I humanly possibly can do it. There really is no other way simpler. If you're going to be using anything algorithmic, if you're going to be doing anything with how these markets book, that 2022 mentorship model is it. There isn't going to be somebody out there that's saying, here's a 5-minute version of the ICT. Fuck all that, okay? There's a couple guys out there trying to run their channels like this, okay? And I get it. There's an audience. They want that fast buck. They want that fast, give me a real quick, short little 5-minute trainer. Fuck all that. You're never going to do that. You're never going to understand what you're doing. So you're getting your clicks and you're getting your little ad revenue on that shit. But they're going to tell you later on, this shit didn't work. I'm going over here where I get the real juice. And I'm not taking the videos off of YouTube. They're there so that way people that try to sell my shit or rename it or whatever, they're going to see, oh, this is where it really came from. And my last video for mentorship will be a sit down face to face. You'll see me. And I'm going to explain why I did it. And I'm going to explain why I insist on having credit, because it's not about ego. And you'll hear right from my own mouth, right from my own face, and there is no filters. You're going to understand why I live my life the way I do. I'm human, and sometimes I cuss like a sailor. And I wish I could change that about myself. I wish I could do that 24/7. You know, when I'm praising the Lord, it's interesting how I don't reach for those words. He tames the tongue in those moments. But when I'm not talking about him, it's very easy for me to reach for the colorful language. So I'm not preaching to you. I'm not trying to bring you to church or anything, but I'm just pulling the veil back and letting you know there's a lot of things that go on that you don't really fully understand, that I contend with. And I'm many times convicted. Every single time I do one of these where I'm talking to you live, I'm immediately convicted. I'm immediately asking for forgiveness because I'm not being a good role model for you. But I use these instances to discharge. It's a confessional. It's a way for me to vent. And I got to be honest with you. Some of these are not liked by a lot of you because you don't find any real value. And most of the time, you know, it's just entertainment for the other folks. Like, you know, I love Ratchet ICT. It's not, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be, but it's unfortunate that I have to manage these feelings, these emotions, these chemicals, and I let them burn off. And once it happens, it gives me the ability to be around my family and to be around myself and not have 1,000 things rushing to the front of my mind. And it feels like that. It feels like there's 1,000 things that needs my attention right now. And all of them are life like threatening. They're all emergencies when they're not. Not one of them is an emergency, but that's what it feels like living with this. And it's hard to articulate that. It's hard to make it understandable for someone that doesn't have it. And I know when I see someone else living with it, and I deal with them differently. I deal with them differently because I know they can't control it. Once I rev up, whether it be the good side or the bad side, no one's talking me down. And I don't care how healthy you are, your job, you may love it. You know, you may be making, you know, a high salary, they give you great benefits, and you're interested in never really leaving it because you love your job. It's your profession. You know, I got students that are like that. They have no interest. I don't care how much they make. I think that'll change when they get really up there in returns. But they say that I don't want to leave my job. I want to stay with this, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. Those individuals still have bad days. If you're married or if you have a relationship, let me tell you something. You're going to have a bad day. Your other partner is going to see to it. That's just a fact of life. It's going to happen like that. And when it happens, you need to make a real careful decision on whether you're going to be entering the marketplace on that day or not. I'm going to humbly submit to you that you probably should take the day off. I don't care how good the chart looks. If you're in a situation that you feel a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, or if you're just pent up hostility, like I have that, I feel a lot better now that I've talked about it, because it's different. It's different talking to someone outside of my wife, who is my partner. She's, part of this corporation that's our marriage. Okay. We have a relationship that we have to build each other up and strengthen each other and be there for each other. And we have had a division in our relationship since this started, because I'm doing everything I can to acquire this property for her. And she is trying to do everything she can not to pester me about every little thing she's feeling every single day. So imagine that. Like, it's very hard to manage all these things. And you're going to have that same problem. It's going to creep in. And when you have that instance where you're out of sorts, okay, you're not dialed in because you have something going on. It may be something as, like you have a child and they're sick, or they're getting in trouble. Maybe they're entering a troublesome time in their development as a child, and they're trying to find themselves. That's stressful, and maybe you're going through an illness. Maybe you discovered something about yourself and your health that is now scary. I've often thought about, all of you and what types of circumstances that would creep into your life. And there's a whole slew of things that could come up. And what might not be a big deal to you may be something earth-shattering to someone else. But if you're on that precipice where all it takes is a small little nudge by somebody, and you're going to lose your shit. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to go off, and you're not going to be able to contain your emotions. If you feel that way, like if you feel that, the worst thing you can do is go into the marketplace. It never turns out well. It never turns out well. And I went in this morning with that mindset. Like, I wanted somebody's ass. Like, I wanted to tear up something bad. And then I was going to peacock it all over social media because I wanted a war. I wanted it. It was an outlet. So now, because there's closure to this, I feel much more balanced because I've talked to you, because you're all part of the family here. You're part of this ICT clique and the cult of winning. You are the closest individuals that's going to understand what I'm saying about this than anyone else. See, you know what it feels like to be inspired or lured into the marketplace based on these little lines on this chart. You know what it feels like to feel like it's telling you to get in there and do something. And you know what it feels like when you're right. And you know what it feels like when you're wrong. And you're going to have to make a decision. Do you really want to bring yourself misery if you do it wrong? So you're not going to see it like that at the time. And it's going to take a great deal of self-control to say no. You're not going to be able to do it many times. You're going to just fall victim to yourself. And you're going to go in there and start clicking buttons and pushing buttons. And the worst thing that can happen is, well, I guess now it just dawned on me. You got to find your own solutions. You got to find your own rhyme and reason as to, how you find continuity in your own life. Because if you don't have continuity, if you don't have the means of adjusting and adapting to what's going on, it's going to take you out of your focus. And you'll have these same types of things that Corbs has been talking about in his last two videos. And I think that's such a great teaching tool. It's such a great, foundation to trader psychology, because that's rarely tapped into. Rarely is that ever really brought up as a means of undoing oneself in the marketplace. Because I had done that to myself when I was in my 20s. I did not understand the impact of something as simple as I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do normally. So what am I going to do? I'm going to look for a feel-good victory. I want a Rocky moment. Well, if you remember in Rocky 1, Apollo fucked him up. He didn't win. He got fucked up. So yeah, he survived, but he didn't get no championship. He got his ass whooped. So just remember, that's what it's going to most likely feel like. You're going to get in there and you might do a good job of slugging it out, but you're going home fucked up. So you got to stay focused. You got to stay focused, understand why you're doing it, and don't get taken out of focus. And if it's your routine, it's all out of whack, something's bringing, inconsistency and disrupting your continuity in your everyday life, that right there is a warning sign. Do not go in if you feel like you want to get, revenge, or you want to feel good moment. You want to feel like an attaboy or attagal, like you did something great. Don't look to the market for that feel good moment. Don't ever look to the market like that. Now, if you do something and you feel good, there's nothing wrong about that. But don't use that as your inspiration for going in and trading. Because if you do that, what's going to happen is, and I'm closing on this point, you're going to trade more times than you're supposed to or should. You're going to use more leverage, and chances are you're not going to use a stop loss effectively or at all, because you're going in with a one-sided perspective that it's only going to work out in your favor, because you need it to, psychologically and emotionally. You need that victory, and you cannot envision anything but that. Now, what did you just do? You created the invitation, VIP invitation, to that brokerage firm, sending your ass home with a blown account, because that's exactly what that recipe brings you in stunning fashion. I've done that when I was 20 years old. Everything that I did in those instances resulted in a losing trade, and it would be a bigger trade with more leverage and no stop loss. And in soybeans, closed me out. That was it. Wrapped up. Run up and done up. And that's what's going to happen to any of you if you don't listen, because you're not thinking clearly and you're doing all the wrong things. But it's not going to feel like that, because in your mind, all I need is this feel good moment. No. Stop that. It's bullshit. You're bullshitting yourself. Nobody's there to tell you this. I'm telling you right now, you're full of shit, because if you get away with it, then you're going to do it again. And then what's going to happen is going to burn your ass at a later time. So the worst thing that can happen is if you win. If you make money in that instance, that's the worst toxic thing you could have done to yourself, because you'll make that mistake again. And you don't want to make that mistake. So I'm telling you, don't look at the market like that. Don't come home pissed off because your boss maybe leaned on you, okay, or denied a vacation, or gave a promotion to somebody else, and you've been working hard and you deserve it, okay, or you just don't like where you're at. You're pissed off. You came home in traffic. Somebody, bumped in your car. You had an accident or something. Now you need to do what? You need to feel rewarded for putting up with all the bullshit of everyday life. And you're going to treat the market like the lottery, because you deserve the win today. Well, you don't deserve to win. Nobody deserves to win. You earn that. Okay, there's no deserving shit. Okay, you earn it. But you cannot earn it consistently if you're doing dumb shit. And dumb shit's going to be a result of you going in looking for a feel-good moment while your personal life is in disarray.